Hi, everybody, and welcome back to yet another cracking installment of the Matt Brown Show. This is the Secrets of Fail series where we're talking about our failures in business and all the great things that we've learned from them. This stuff you will not find on your LinkedIn timeline until I release it. With me on the line and in the hot seat is the CEO and founder of Ursus, that's URSUS Inc.com. John Beck, welcome to the show, bud.
Matt, thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Yeah, the privilege is all mine, man. Listen, so why don't you kick us off with the beautiful elevator pitch, John? What are you guys up to at Ursus?
You bet. Ursus is a technical and creative staffing firm. We focus on a lot of projects and initiatives where companies are digitally optimizing or recalibrating or just getting started in their journey. All those companies need, whether it's day one in their journey or they're established technology firms, technical and creative talent. So we provide that in contract, direct hire, project-based form.
Okay, interesting. So what are some of the problems that you solve on a daily basis?
Everyone's developing and building new tools, and the pace of innovation continues to accelerate in the world that we live in, especially with cloud and COVID. You could argue was putting gas on that accelerant or that fire to begin with. Companies that maybe didn't have a digital footprint had to participate in the wake of COVID. And so we provide a lot of software developers, cloud engineers, a lot of creative talent, people that are designing the user interface and user experiences. And in a lot of cases, we find that the chief marketing officer and chief technology officer are working as closely as they ever before because of the interdependence. Everyone expects to have that Amazonian feel and experience, whether they're in an enterprise application or buying something online. And so we're providing the talent to deliver that.
Beautiful. Seems like the war on talents it's like the war on drugs. When does it end?
It is fierce. I don't think, unless we start creating more humans that are trained out of the womb, it's going to be a while.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Cool, man. Look, so John, what is your story of fail for our audience around the world today?
Sure. So we're celebrating our 8-year anniversary this month, as a matter of fact. And 3 years ago, we started to diverge a little bit from our core offering within technology and creative talent. One of the things as a startup, and I still consider our company a startup very much so, is to really stick to your knitting, stay in your swim lane, pick your metaphor. We were allured or maybe drawn away from that and got into some types of engagements that just weren't core to our offering. In our industry, there's a term or a category of staffing called light industrial. It's a lot of manufacturing work, typically lower wage than some of the higher technical roles that we fill. And we started to take on some of that business, and it just mucked up our whole system. And it's throughout system-wide. The back office had to do more transactional work. Those folks are higher churn. Often there's workers' compensation issues. And while it sounded good at the time and it was big dollars for us, when we look back a year later, we found that the margin was really low and it compromised the rest of the business. And so in response to that, we basically had an initiative to churn out that business. And at the same time, I guess the silver lining in this is that we automated everything within our back office and system-wide at the company, really in response to, we expect to become a bigger company and take on the volume. Let's make sure that we've automated all aspects of our business. So when we do that with the type of business that we want, we can be successful. And I hear from, regardless of whether you're in staffing or any industry, that this is the challenge that every founder and CEO comes across. Salespeople come to the table, this is great business. We're going to make tons of dough. It's going to be really great. It's a new logo. And it just might not be good business and aligned with what you do. And we learned that the hard way. But in hindsight, I'm glad we made that mistake in year 5 and 6 and in year 8, 9, and 10.
Yeah, when it's like it's hard to say no at that point. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I recognize myself in your story, John, in the sense of saying yes to things that, it's like, oh, let's just add another logo. Like, let's just add another one. Like, the more we add, the better, right? Because it's all about growth or die, and actually,
right.
This is what I was saying to you before we went live. I woke up one morning, because I've been doing this for like doubled revenues every 3 years. Woke up one morning, I went, this sucks. Like, I hate it. Like, what have we created here? I've got developers, I've got service people, I've got account management people, I've got project managers. This is too much. And, and it's just like, but it takes discipline. And it's come up on the show, like your discipline ultimately becomes your destiny. And I do believe, to your point, John, that if you define yourself by what you say no to, not what you say yes to.
I agree 100%. And I would add to that or expand on that, the saying that revenue is vanity, profit is sanity is absolutely true. And if you have in the, early stages of your company, taken the time to really hone down your product market fit, and set out your mission and how you're going to get there and the strategy and tactics behind it, and stay true to that, it becomes a lot easier. And I take full responsibility. I'm a salesperson at heart. I love to win. I love new logos, and we just got away from it. And in hindsight, though, I think we're much better now at saying no. We share that with prospective clients as well too. Up front, we said we will say no to you before we say yes. If it's not a good fit for us, it's not a good use of our time, and we're not setting ourselves up for success. And that's hard. It's hard to do. It's a constant practice. But if you do it, boy, does it pay dividends in the long run.
Yeah, it's a fewer clients, yes, but better ones. Less churn, higher value relationships, happier business on the back end. That's the dream, right?
No question. No
Absolutely.
question. And failure, one of my other favorite sayings is, and this is daily, is failure is fertilizer for future growth. And I don't think we would be as lean and smart as a company today had we not gone through that experience and that pain. And so I look at it as a positive in the long run.
Mm-hmm. So, John, what did that experience teach you? Like, what are is there a key lesson that you want other CEOs, entrepreneurs to know from your experience?
I think I touched on it a little bit earlier, but I really think the discipline in the planning that you do and knowing who you are and who you aren't and looking through that lens in every transaction that you have, and that you can expand that into your culture, into your strategy for go-to-market and how you plan to attack the market. If you reference back to that and stay disciplined and look through that lens, and the best way that I've heard it is really about customer alignment. If we know that the client is communicating to us the things that we deem as important and that fit with what we're really good at, that's a good fit. We want to lean into that. If not, we got to ask ourselves, is this the right place to spend time? Even if it's like a really hot, new, sexy, big logo, you just have to have that discipline and look through that lens, because boy, you can waste a lot of time and effort and money, and have to undo a lot of things if you don't do that. So better to do the work up front for sure.
John, let's go back in time. What would you do differently if you could get into the Matt Brown Show time machine?
That's funny, Matt, because I host a podcast and ask that same question. I do. And I darn it, you invented a time machine too. I thought I was the only one.
No, John.
I love the question, and I've heard a lot of answers to this. And my response to that is, it's similar to what the lesson was, is really staying true to my own personal mission. I started my career serendipitously, got into the internet in the early 90s, not to date myself. And while I've been blessed to have a really great career and work for some great people, I made some career choice decisions based on the allure of money or title and not what I really wanted to do, and working for the people that I thought would really make me better. And so, some people refer to it as their true north, their own inner voice. I think staying true to that and knowing that if you're working in good organizations for good people and doing the things that you want to do, the money and other stuff will take care of itself. And I counsel a lot of kids that are coming out of college and give them that exact same advice. Try some things on for size. You're going to know what feels right. You're going to meet a lot of people and follow that path.
Great advice. But now it's time to double click on that. So when it comes to your advice, John, for CEOs, not necessarily youngsters, but for CEOs and entrepreneurs, young and old, when it comes to their relationship with failure or the role of failure in success, what's your one piece of advice there?
I think to own it and to not beat yourself up or view a event as indicative of who you are, what your company is about. I think CEOs put a lot of pressure on themselves. Obviously, they're usually cut from that cloth. It can be very lonely at times. There's not a lot of people that are available to talk to and commiserate with. A lot of people suffer from imposter syndrome. And so when failure does hit you, it can knock you down a little bit and start to really challenge everything that you think about. And I think to step back and put it in perspective and say, okay, what am I going to learn from this, and why did it happen? How is it going to make me better? Is really important to do, and that takes time. And to give yourself the space to digest and think and ruminate and discuss with other leaders if you have peers to talk about it with, and then you dust yourself off and get back at it.
Yeah, it's really good advice. The other piece of advice you probably missed there, John, was to check out your podcast. You want to give it a quick plug?
I appreciate that. We host a podcast twice a month, Hiring University or Hiring You, playing off the U in Ursus, on any of your favorite podcast listening options.
Matt Brown Show endorses John's podcast. So head on over there, guys. It's a bi-weekly. And head on over there now. It'll change your life. John, is there over and above podcasts potentially, but other like books or tools or resources that you encourage other CEOs, entrepreneurs to use on their journey?
I've really benefited. I'm part of a CEO peer group at Vistage. There's several that are out there. I was a skeptic when I first joined, to be honest with you. I admit that there are times when it feels somewhat like therapy. Before every meeting, I don't want to go, but afterwards I feel a little better. And the benefit of that is true to my other comments, is to have a group that you can bounce other ideas off, commiserate with, that are all in the same boat. It's lonely being a CEO, and to have peers to connect with is invaluable, because they're going through the same stuff, regardless of what their business is. The group that I'm in, there's guys that own car dealerships and electric bike companies, and you can translate all the struggles, trials, and tribulations across different disciplines. So it's really valuable.
Yeah, get a mastermind, guys. I 100% agree with you, John. I've got an idea for a destination mastermind group. Do you want to hear it? So if anyone's interested, you can email me, matt@mattbrownshow.com. Be part of the first cohort, people. But basically, here's the thing, right? So to your point, work is work, and you're lonely, it's isolating, you need perspective, all this stuff. And so I know Vistage, been to a few. I personally, for me, didn't feel like it was the right network, but for others it works. I know loads of guys in it, highly recommend it, blah, blah. So how's this? So what if you could go away once a quarter, so every 12 weeks, John, tell me what you think. I'm pitching you live on air. But you go away once every quarter to like a 6-star proper premium destination holiday, Vail, Aspen, like whatever the case is, or Bahamas, peer group, right? Like small 8 guys, villas, like proper 5-star stuff, right? But what we do is we run a destination mastermind. So not only are you getting away from the environment so that you can start to digest new perspectives and have time with peers, which isn't like a half-day session or a one-day thing. It's actually where you not only get the benefits of like a mastermind type execution, but you're also getting the benefits of friendship. And one of the things that for me is really key here in terms of my intention is to create only a network of 90. So that's it. So it's called Network 90. And we do this once every quarter. And so the idea is that this network becomes your net worth vehicle. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So whether that's relationships that get open, blah, 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 blah. So that's kind of like the initial thinking. What do you think?
I love every single piece of that. As long as it's in budget.
Spoken like a true CEO. Well, that's great. Well, look, John, thank you for being on the show. Really appreciate you being vulnerable and sharing your perspectives. I'll have a look at your podcast too. Thank you for being here and for making a difference to my audience.
My pleasure, Matt. Thanks for having me.
Alrighty. Thanks, everyone. We'll speak to you again soon. Ciao.